Welcome to Intentional Excellence, Elevate Your Life, the podcast where we uncover the power of purpose, resilience, and growth. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. I'm a keynote speaker, podcast, and live show host. I'm an educator and entrepreneur. This February, we're kicking off a powerful series called Solo and Strong, Thriving as a Single Parent. This series is incredibly important because we're featuring individuals who not only strive for excellence in their personal and professional lives, but do so while navigating the challenges of single parenthood. Tonight's guest is the first in this series, and I'm so honored to introduce her. She is a woman of resilience, determination, and strength. Introducing Jasmine Bootle. Did I say that correctly, Jasmine?
Yes.
All right. Jasmine is a resilient single mother of two children who has faced immense personal challenges while building a meaningful life for herself and her family. She does not receive child support as her children's father struggles with homelessness and fentanyl addiction, a battle that has led to incarceration for stealing from her. These hardships occurred during one of the most difficult times in her life, while she was also coping with the loss of her father. Despite these obstacles, Jasmine has remained steadfast in her journey. She is the founder of Divination, healing business, where she employs unique methods to help others on their healing path. In addition to running her business, she is furthering her education by attending college, all while navigating the demands of single motherhood. To my viewers, help me in welcoming to my channel, Jasmine Bootle. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi. You make it sound like I do so much.
Yes, you do. The fact that you are here, I wouldn't have featured you if I know that you don't have a story to share, and I'm not sure that you have something to impact the audience. And I just want to first of all acknowledge you as a person, as a mom. I just want to say I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for what
Well,
you're
I
doing.
appreciate that. I just, in your daily life, you don't think you're doing a lot, but then you think back and you're like, I just don't stop. I'm just like that. I'm an idea person, so I just kind of always, my brain's just always going,
Yes.
so I never really stop and think about how much I actually just did.
And not
So
only
when you
that,
hear it,
yeah, when you hear it from someone actually like, hey, that's my life. You
hmm
start to think and reflect on it and realize that, yes, I went through that. I did go through that.
exactly.
And just so you know, everything that we all went through in life makes us who we are as a person.
hmm
And I'm
I
proud of you.
completely agree.
I'm proud
And
of you.
thank you.
Jasmine, is there any other thing or other ways or that you want to like talk about yourself? Did I mention everything? Did I miss anything, Jasmine?
You pretty much covered it all,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of like how everything basically even kind of happened, right? Like how my dad passed, and then my ex became a fentanyl addict, and it just got worse and worse, and then he was stealing from me, and then he ended up on the streets now, and he went to jail for what I charged him for stealing money from me, because obviously I kicked him out at that point. He broke in and took my bank card and had fun with it, I guess, and got caught because he was on camera buying stuff with it. So I was able to charge him, and he refused to pay me the money back. He would rather serve the sentence than pay me back because he refuses to ever give me child support or any
It's
financial
pride.
help because I won't
Yeah.
stay with him.
It's
I don't
I think
know.
of it as like ego and pride. Like you'd rather go to jail than like you know what I mean? It's a lot of like
hmm
ego and pride. I'm sorry about that. And you know what? At least you found out sooner, right?
Well, it's been 7 years now, so
Okay.
for me to look back upon it, it's a little different than when you're in that actual situation, sitting in the police station, telling the police this, and you feel bad because of what's going, like, because it's your children's father and stuff like that. But you're like, I have to do this because I want my money back.
Right,
That's I
right.
didn't get the money back, but at that time at least he got some sort of I got some sort of justice out of the situation, right?
Okay,
So
that's
at least that I got relief from that, and he had a peace bond where he had to stay away from us for a while, so that was good.
that's good. All right. So, a lot about resilience. The first topic that we're going to talk about is really I'm big with resilience in my podcast channel, and I know we already started talking about that. You're here because you built resilience based on whatever happened to you. So, Jasmine, your story is one of incredible resilience between raising two children as a single mom, dealing with personal loss, and managing the challenges of your children's father's struggles. As you mentioned, you had to persevere through so much. Jasmine, what has helped you stay strong? And how do you cultivate resilience in your daily life?
Like I said, I'm not inhuman. I do have times where I have like I get a little depressed or down. I don't feel great, but mostly it's just my kids. I just keep going because I want to give them a good life. So I keep going as much as I possibly can so that they can have the life I want them to have
Right.
instead of them feeling, like they're like me being one of those women. Oh, I don't get my child support and this and that, right? I'd rather not teach them that. I'd rather just teach them, work for
Yeah.
yourself, make sure you can take care of yourself. Because I learned that I lived with my dad till he passed. So for my whole life, I didn't know how to be an adult. I didn't know how to pay bills and stuff. So I had to learn at an older age how to do that. So I want to teach them how to take care of themselves younger so that it's not such a massive shock to the system to learn how to do it at such an old age, right?
And you did say, when I asked you, how did you build your resilience? You did say, I did go through a lot. But for me, Jasmine, a resilient person becomes such because he or she was able to go through a lot of things in her life. And that's what made you resilient. That's what makes you who you are right now. Without those challenges in life, we wouldn't be strong. We wouldn't be resilient. We wouldn't be who we are right now. So, sometimes we look back and like, oh, wow, like, look at those things that happened to me. But it really makes you who you are as a person right now.
And it
Right?
helps you when you're going through a new tough time to look
Yes.
back and be like, if I can do that, I can do this. And it
Yes.
helps you with the strength in that aspect because you look at it, you're like, I did that, I can do this. This isn't as much, like I can figure it out. I just have to breathe and I'm a planner, so I'm always planning things, right?
Same.
So the next step is always what's going on. And I rather have a backup plan than sit there and be depressed. And so I'm the kind of person who's like 6 or 7 backup plans so that I never have to be left out of control or feel like I can't take care of my kids or I feel anything like that. So I'm always making sure there's other plans in place just in case something ever happens again, right?
Love it. I love it. And also, you did mention that it also teaches your kids facts of life, to be resilient because they had to go through what you went through. And sometimes we feel bad for our kids going through these challenges, but then if you can model to them or if you can explain to them how these things can make them become better, and you know what I mean, and like really role modeling for them that, hey, if we're hit with like this, we can be like this. So I like how you looked at it, wherein you're looking at it more positively, that your kids are learning to be resilient at such a young age, and that's important. That's important.
Well, especially with my son because the game he plays on his tablet, you can get money for it, and he got money for Christmas, so he had to learn how to control his money
Manage. Manage money.
Yeah, and
Oh,
at first he didn't do it very well, but he got two gift cards, and with the second one, he had learned from the first one, so it's kind of the same thing, right? And
yes.
he listens to mommy complain, or whatever, talk about these things. In his mind, it's complaining, but talk about these things, and then he finally puts two and two together when he has these gift cards, right? So it's interesting. Then
Love
my
it.
daughter's like me, and she's frugal and doesn't like to spend her money, and just kind of hoards it.
Don't say hoard. Maybe save it for the
Yeah,
future.
saves it. Well, I mean, because she gets it on the game too, and so
Yeah.
instead,
Okay.
she likes to add it up and then be like to her brother, "Well, I have this much money."
And she gets it. She buys the better one because she has more saved.
Yeah, so they learn. It's weird that they actually learn about money through playing a video game because
Aww.
when we were kids, we didn't have that option.
Right.
So
Right.
when they don't always, nobody listens to their parents, so like as a child, right? Not really fully. So
Right.
it's actually kind of teaching them that from even just listening to me and then putting that into action with what they're doing in their game, right?
Yes.
So it's
Correct.
interesting.
And also reflecting on what you said, I love when you said you have a backup plan because you know what? We don't know what works. And when you are hit with being a single mom, like all of a sudden, you really have to make sure that you just don't have plan one, you have plan two, plan three, because being single, it's hard when things don't work out the way we planned it. You're like, what am I gonna do? Because you have only yourself to rely on. So having those backup plan when plan one, two, three, four don't work is such a great idea. I love that you were able to have that mindset of just having
I
backup plan.
Well, like I said, because I hadn't really adulted per se until my dad passed. Because I would pay for things in the house, but I didn't pay the like mortgage or the hydro bills or anything like that. So I didn't know how to manage things or
Yes.
have a fallback plan. So I decided after that experience being my aunt did some shady things which really affected that too, but we won't get into that. It's too negative.
Yes. Mhm.
And it just made me realize like I need to have like as many plans as possible in place or else I won't be able to sleep at night because I'll be like like
What if this don't work? What if this don't work? Right.
my school hates me because I'm constantly in contact with them about this and this and that and this. They're like, oh my gosh, like.
No, that's just being you as like making sure that everything goes well. You know, having more
I'm
plans is better than
obsessive.
not having a plan.
Well, that's why they get irritated because I'm just setting up plans in place, like in case my kids get sick. I have a certain note saying that I can hand things in late if my kids are sick. So that's what I mean by putting something in place in case something happens, right?
Right. Right.
So
I
that's just
totally
one
agree.
of the things I mean by like planning ahead in ways, right?
I
Or
agree
like
with you.
having obviously like a savings account and those kinds of things and like making sure that that's at a certain level or else I'll get anxious and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's just always and same with like I don't work right now cuz I'm in school, but like with working and stuff like I'd always have another job lined up in case something happened with the job I already had. I worked in the restaurant industry, and restaurants close a lot, right? So I'd
Yes.
always make sure I work somewhere that, like, I got a country club or something that wouldn't really close.
Right.
And then
Right.
even if they did, I'd have like a backup one just in case. Like,
Love it.
I
Love
always
it.
left on a good note so that I could possibly go back
Right.
if I had to, right?
That's a great way of thinking. Just leaving positively, so that you can always go back if you need to. I love
I
that.
have before. That's the thing.
You know what, Jasmine? Like, you're the first guest for this series, and this series, Solo and Strong, is really very special to me because I am also an example of being solo and trying to be strong. So when you're
You definitely do a lot too, just from what you said. Sorry to cut you
Thank
off.
you. Thank you. So I believe that when you're hit with a defining moment in your life, Jasmine, you have to act immediately. So when I lost my husband 2023, I had to take on multiple roles, just like you. That experience could have held me back, kept me down. And honestly, I did struggle for a few months, but then I realized I didn't want to be in that situation. I didn't want to be negative. I didn't want to be stuck in sadness. So instead, I used this experience being alone to go inward and find my true purpose in life. So that's really the reason why I'm here right now, because that defining moment, Jasmine, helped me become who I am today. I am
I,
solo, but I'm
yeah.
thriving. Solo but strong.
But I feel the same way. That's exactly how what happened to me. I was down for a little bit, but then I just
Love it.
didn't want to be there. I get the same thing. Like, you want to be positive, you want to keep going, you don't want to be feeling negative. It's just not it. It just makes you feel sick, and I don't know. I just would rather, like you said, keep going, and you find your true purpose when you do go within yourself. So the sadness, in a sense, helped me because I was able to go within myself because I was upset. I had to think of things, and yeah, just everything happened. Like you said, it just happens at once. It's just like
Right.
and you have to figure it out or else sink or
Yes,
swim kind of,
it's
right?
either you sink or you thrive. So which path would you rather go, right? Especially
And,
when we know that kids are depending on us. We just have to really like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do next? You can't just, especially your kids are so young. They're very
and
young.
and they want so much, and like now they're in school, I'm able to do a lot more business wise, right? Which is nice. Where before working with my son home, it was kind of a challenge, but it didn't stop me. I'd still do it all day long. I could working for an app, right? Doing tarot readings. So
Nice.
I could sit there and do my tarot readings, and he would just be playing. I can stop it and like end it, like after a tarot reading, make them lunch, hang out with them, do something, and then go do another tarot reading. Right. So I was able to make it work where I could I had my own hours, so I
Okay.
could also take care of him and also still kind of work on the side on that, right? While still being in school too. But I
Right.
always do my homework on the weekend, so I wait till Saturday. That's my homework day.
Well, you did mention about your what you're doing right now. Did I mention it correctly? Divination, is that how you say it? Divination.
Yeah,
Talk
so
to us about it. Like how can the viewers or other people find you if they need some tarot reading? Like how can they find you? Where are
so
you in an app?
I'm on an app called Bitwine. Plus, I do freelance work on my Facebook,
Okay.
Jasmine Bootle, basically my name. I'm working on getting a better website, so that's the problem. I have a Square website, but it's not the best. I fight with it all the time, so I'm gonna end up having to pay somebody to do a website because I want to offer more classes and stuff
Okay.
like that. So working on the website and kind of updating my services, but at the same time, you can just DM me, PM me, whatever, on Instagram and Facebook. My
Okay.
name's the same. And yeah, if you want to look for me for a tarot reading or
I love that.
a different, like a pendulum reading, I can't do palm readings over that app, but Bitwine is where you can find me. I'm under Gypsy Jasmine.
Love it. I love it. And then later on, I'm going to ask you to give me all the links to your website, to all your socials, so we can share and so that the viewers can know more about you and reach you directly. Okay.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you.
Now, let's talk about mindset. Okay. So, given everything you've faced from personal loss to financial and emotional struggles, how do you maintain a mindset that keeps you moving forward rather than feeling stuck in hardship? I know we already started talking about this, but if you want to add, like, how do you keep like a positive mindset?
I had like a hard time when I was younger being bullied and stuff like that. So, from experiencing hardships at a young age, I have learned to have a positive mindset before any of this even happened. So I have had a lot of different things happen to me already where I had to learn how to have a positive mindset or I would just never get out of bed. So
Right.
um, I had, like, same with like when my mom left my dad penniless, and so I stayed and I helped him so that he and I could both be okay. And we didn't have a car or we didn't have anything. My dad would walk around with a wagon, like, and I think him struggling at that time and watching him do it in stride with his wagon, kind of taught me that you can do that and you can be happy and you don't need to be materialistic. You just be happy with what you have and you just keep going, and whatever life brings you to, you go for that, or whatever you feel in your heart, right?
One thing I love speaking when I like talk to you is when you're so open with what you went through in life. And that makes you accept it. You're very accepting to change. Like, I feel that the way that you just go through your what you've experienced with your dad, with like your husband and yourself, and really talk about it freely, gives you that positive mindset right away. You know what I mean? It's because it's like you're not using these experiences to bring you down, or just to like get stuck in that mindset. You're so open to change, and that makes that and that's what gives you a growth mindset. When you are able to like what did you say? Like, I don't want to be stuck in that like experience. I want to make sure that I'm working on myself and stuff like that. And you're continuously want to develop yourself by going to college and having this business that you're doing despite the challenges in life. So I love your idea of growth mindset and modeling. Like, you did mention how you looked up to your dad, and just be grateful of like being together despite the challenges in life. I like that positivity that you have. That's a really good mindset to have
He
in
was
everything that
a
you do.
he was a really positive person. So the experience, like, my mom's very
You made
negative.
it
They're very
positive.
opposite. So
Okay.
living with my dad, he taught me so much about, he was always, no matter how bad things were, he'd be singing and, just enjoying life. And so watching that made me want to be that way. So I would like try to emulate him and learn through him that aspect of getting over things, right? Instead of
Yes.
before, when my mom lived with us, I was a totally different person. And living with my dad for 10 years, I changed so much, and can see it because now I'm like, I can see now when I look back, because I know the person I was and the person that I was afterwards. Because, like I said, my dad was just such a happy person. Even
Aww.
people wrote in under his obituary about him singing and just being a positive light of a person. So I wanted to be the same, no matter how hard things were. You can be happy as long as you just, like I said, keep going and doing what you need to do.
Right.
And no, that's why he was able to be positive, because it wasn't like he had a good job. He was able to work and get back to where he needed to be. And that's like with me with the plants, because he had a heart attack, and when he got put on disability, he didn't have a backup plan. And then again, we had financial issues, and he said, never again are we going to have financial issues. And we started making plans, like
Okay.
backup plans for everything. So that's where I really, like I said, I learned everything of that nature from him, I would say.
I love that. So I'm gonna recap what you just said, because I love exactly what you said. So part of being solo and strong means that in order to thrive, you need to have a positive and growth mindset, no matter what life challenges you have. Because when you are able to finally adapt to the changes in your life because you have a growth mindset, that's when you know you're going to be okay. Right? So, really having that growth mindset allows us to take in our experiences, no matter how difficult they may be, and turn them into something that really shapes us, who we are at the moment. Right?
Plus, I also want to have, like, I want my life to be a certain way. So
Right?
I want to work towards that. Even though I'm not the youngest person, I still want to work towards it continuously. I always am setting new goals. And I think that's another way to keep yourself in a positive mindset and in a way of being resilient, because
Right.
you're always thinking about what you want your life to look like. It's almost like manifestation,
Right.
opposed to focusing on the things that
Don't
aren't right
serve
in your
you.
life.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't serve you and very negative in your life. I agree with you. Now, as a woman, okay, we do have a lot of responsibilities. So let's talk about balance. So
Oh.
it's already hard to be a mom. You're a mother, you're a business owner, and a college student, all while navigating personal challenges. So, Jasmine, how do you create balance in your life? And what advice would you give to others who are struggling to manage multiple responsibilities?
The You have to find the time to, you have to do things when you have the time. So like I said, like if my children are in school, that's when I have to focus on things. And don't be afraid to ask for help if you
Yeah.
need it. Like with my mother, yes, we've had our issues, but at the same time, over time, we've obviously reconciled our differences. And it, like, my mom takes the kids so that I can do my homework on the weekend, right? So
Right.
I had to ask for that help, or if I have to go do something really quick, my mom will come and watch them for an hour or something. But you have to ask for help, even if it's somebody like my neighbors have offered to help me this too, right? So
Right.
it's just I know people have that fear of asking for help, but sometimes you just have to, right?
Yes. And especially when, like think about it, like you also want to be there for them if they need help. See what I mean? So, just having that openness with other people, like especially the ones who are close to you, let's say a neighbor or like a family member or a good friend, just somebody who, if something happens to you, you can just call them, hey, can you pick up my kids, or like something, what I mean, like just to have that support system, which we're going to talk about more later on, right? So don't
Mm-hmm.
forget to ask. That's a great suggestion. Put away your ego, put away your pride, what I mean?
And
Just
yeah,
ask.
because it's hard.
It's, what I
I
mean?
know it is at first.
How is it gonna help you if you're so prideful? If you're so full of like, you know,
I can
like,
do it all myself,
oh my
or
god,
that, because like you do that, then you burn out, right? And
right?
like I took a college course where they talked a lot about burning yourself out, and I learned a lot about, you do have to ask for help, because when you hit that burnout point, you don't help anybody. You're
Yes,
not
yes.
being good in any way. You're just done.
Love it. I agree with you because when people reach that point of burnout, whether it's burnout at work, burnout as your role as a mom, or anything, it just brings you down. You're so emotionally drained or emotionally like unsatisfied that everything that you do gets affected. So you
Mm-hmm.
do need that positivity in your life to fight that burnout, because burnout can it's like a ripple effect. When you get to this point of burnout, it can lead to like your self-doubt, it can lead to poor self-confidence, it can lead to like negative way of dealing with things, you know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah.
you know so really having that positive mindset and fighting the burnout through self-care. We can talk, you know what I mean? I feel like if you care about yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you know yourself, finding your self-worth, finding self-respect, you can fight whatever burnout you have, right?
Exactly. And like I said, either fighting if you're feeling like I said, finding time to do things like when the kids are in school, but if you're feeling overwhelmed,
Yes.
you don't always have to like have the house immaculate. Go take a nap if you're feeling that stressed out. Don't worry about it. That can be done later, you know. And you just have to prioritize yourself. And whenever I read cards, a lot of the times the cards are telling the people that they need more self-care. They're putting themselves towards burnout, and that's why I know so much about this, because I read a lot of people that have this in their life, and that's why I say, you know, that can be done another day. You are also important, and you have to make sure that you put you first before anybody else, because you're not helping anybody if you're not putting yourself first.
Love your advice. Now, I'm going to add to that so that our viewers will get more ideas on how to balance your life. So, you also mentioned that. So, for me, balancing my life is really managing your priorities, like putting your priorities in order. And I know you talked about that. So, really, really, like, what's important for you? Like, first, for me, my family will always come first. The house will come next. You know, if the house is like a little messy, my family comes first. You know, if they're sick or they need my time, I will prioritize them. Second, what's important for me is healing. Like, you know, after going through that defining moment in my life, I've needed to really pause and heal, because that's when the self-care happened, or else it will
Mm-hmm.
lead me to burnout. So accepting that I am alone, you know, like my husband passed away, and allowing myself to heal from the pain of losing my husband was also something that I had to prioritize, Jasmine. Third, moving forward, I had to ask myself, how am I going to move forward while in this situation? Being alone is not easy. Do you get that moments wherein you're like, it's a holiday and you just start crying? Because you're alone. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. See what I mean? So you need to find ways on how am I going to move forward now that I'm alone. And last, self-love. You really have to find ways to find your genuine, authentic self, because that's how you know that you are able to balance your life, when you are able to prioritize all these important things. So that's how I was able to balance my life. I found myself love, my self-worth by finding, going through a self-love journey. So now I feel that more or less I do have a sense of balance in my life by knowing my priorities despite being solo.
I
So
100% agree. It takes a little time, but once you get the hang of it, and also like when all of this happened, I still go see a counselor once a week, right? I still do. And I'm thinking about going to a program called Celebrate Recovery, which is about it's not about drugs. It's about anybody who is struggling in their life can come to the support group and feel safe and supported. You could be having problems with drugs. I'm not saying that you can't,
right.
but it's for everybody. And I've been thinking about going with a friend of mine, just because he's a single dad and he's
Right.
struggling too, right? So we thought, maybe we would go try this out and see possibly if it helps us in our journey in life too, right? So again, it's
Right.
always thinking of different ways to cope sometimes when you're stressed out. And the weather right now, it's just
Yes.
here is just so bleh, and it just gets you down. So we thought, hey, let's go to CR. My ex's mother-in-law runs it, so I at least know people there, and I'm not scared to go, right? So he knows her too, so we were like, oh, let's try it out. So we're going to try it out this week and see how we feel if it fits for us, because we go to the same counselor, so that's how we came to this conclusion, right? While waiting in the office. I've known him since I was 5, but we randomly go to the same counselor, and my mom actually rents his granny suite, and yeah, we have a weird, I don't know, it randomly our families just are, I don't know, it's just weird, but yeah, him and I are going to try that for the same reasons. Like, that's a self-care thing, and both of us aren't like always the best at it. I mean, yes, we go to our counseling and stuff, but it's something we thought we might add, just because our kids are getting older, and it
Yes.
sometimes is harder depending. Like, my son needs a lot, right? So it'd be nice just to go and even talk to some other people about, how they go about dealing with that aspect of parenting, or, because my friend has two girls, so it's different,
Right.
but I don't know anybody really who's a son, so that aspect of support from somebody else of
Yes.
how to go about it and stuff, right?
I love what you said because I also, especially when you mentioned that the weather kind of brings you down. Because I used to live in New York where it's going to be negative one day and then, you really can't go out that much because it's too cold.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm in Florida, so I can totally understand what you're saying that in the height of that season, everything is closed. Everything looks so and dull and like just
Mm-hmm.
boring. And if you can't find a way to entertain yourself, you get crazy. You get stuck in your
Well, the
house
kids
not
are
doing
stir
anything.
crazy because I send them out to make a snowman, and they come back in 5 minutes later because they're too cold.
Right, 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 right.
They're like, I don't want to do it. I'm too cold. But they have a snowman kit, so I thought they'd get excited about it. But nope, too cold. So they're cooped up, which makes
Right.
it worse,
It's
right?
hard. That's why you get sick. Jasmine was just explaining to me, sharing with me prior to the podcast that her kids have been sick. It's because they're just inside the house. Like they're not out there. So, like you get susceptible to like more, like
Mm-hmm.
getting sick because you're just stuck inside. Like, your personal space is just so limited. Your physical space is so limited. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm used to the winters here. It sucks because where we live, it's very walkable to so many places, right? So I
But
promised
they're
my,
close. Maybe at a
well,
certain early, like what, by 6 o'clock they're close?
yeah, they're closed by 6, so like my kids get out of school, we gotta run
Right,
because
right, right.
they like this cafe that makes chicken Caesar wraps that they love, but it closes at 6, like you said, so we have to like rush down there. But it's like close enough that that's one thing we can do in the winter that they'll
Right.
actually want to do, because tobogganing in Canada actually. Or at least where I live, a few kids died in a accident where they got, well, just different
Recently?
accidents. No, a few, like 10 years ago or so.
Okay.
So now they've banned like all the places that people toboggan because of the incidences that were happening, right? So you
Okay.
can't really toboggan anywhere here. So it's not like you could be like, let's go tubing or tobogganing or something, unless you want to drive like an hour away to go
Right,
do it
right.
at an actual place, right?
Right, right,
So it's
right.
not the same. They can't just go down the street and toboggan like you could when I was little, right? So
Right.
you don't
And
get that.
wow, I mean, you just have to do what you can, because it's so
Board
limited when you're.
games.
Yes, and also I wanted to share with you. A few weeks ago, I also had a podcast guest who's also from Ontario, Canada, and he we talked about collaboration. So you might want to take note of this. There's this website. It's called meetup.com, wherein you can really specify what kind of groups you want to meet up with. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
you can say, group for grief and loss, or grief for collaboration, business entrepreneur. You can physically meet up with them, or you can just specify your
Yeah.
preference. You can either physically meet up with them or have a virtual meetup. So maybe that's a good support system as well when you're going through some challenges, or just simply, you want to have some personal development by having like-minded people surround you.
Yeah, and other people's ideas always help you grow as long as they're
Right,
positive ones, right? So you're
right,
always, if you keep your mind open to what others have to say, as long as it's not a negative thing, then
right.
that's a great idea. I've never heard of that. That is
I
great.
think meetup com, and you can really, because I'm very intentional with who I meet. I really like, at my age right now, I want to meet like-minded people, people who I will learn, like, will learn from each other, you know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
can, you can, he said you can actually really specify the kind of skills that you want, working around with
Yeah.
when you meet up with it. We're not also getting any younger, and our time is valuable. Like, might as well be purposeful and intentional with who we would like to meet, right? you know
Exactly, and it is definitely hard at times, especially in the winter, to meet like-minded people, or even get your message out there in just the town in Ontario itself, because nobody wants to go anywhere, so nobody wants to do anything, so everybody's just in a mood, right? And you're like,
are you also
"Ugh."
in Ontario?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're the third guest that I had from Ontario, Canada. I'm so, like, lucky. I'm so lucky. Yeah,
Well,
so
Canadians are
wow.
usually really nice.
Oh, very, very, and we keep in touch, like we really do. So this is not going to be our last, collaboration. Like, we'll help each other out with whatever. I'm here to help you with your business, and maybe have you again in one of my podcasts, my live show, and stuff like that. That would be nice.
Well, I appreciate the help, and you're just such a nice, like, warm person. I love it
Thank
so
you.
much, right? Like,
Thank
I
you.
love your energy, and a few of the other podcasts I've done, they've been very like-minded, like you, and same kind of thing. And we keep in touch. Sometimes I'll do
Yes.
tarot readings for them and stuff, so it's
Ah!
kind of fun, right?
We're dealing with a lot, Jasmine. Let's talk about consistency. Okay. When you're running a business, like, you're running a business, you're going to college, and raising children, all require consistency. Jasmine, what are some of the routines or habits that help you stay consistent in your personal and professional life?
Keeping a day planner. I mean, that's old school. Most people do it all on their phone now, but I still do it the way I did it when I was younger in school, the way they taught us. So I keep a day planner where I have everything I need to do always written down so that I don't forget anything. And with the children, I try to stay consistent. They're in sports and stuff, which helps with consistency.
Okay.
But you can't all. I don't know. With them, with kids, it's you can't always plan for things to happen the way you want. Like how they were sick, so they missed pizza day. You know what I mean? But I had written down that it was pizza day. I bought the pizza, but they were sick, so can't always control it. But
Okay.
I try to keep myself consistent by having all the dates for everything written down so that I don't forget, because that's the worst. I hate it when my kids come home and they're like, "You forgot to give me
Yes.
the popcorn for popcorn day." You're like, "I sorry."
Well, don't think that it's only you who keeps a day planner. I'm very into social media. I'm a techie person. I do a lot of things on the computer. I can come up with my own website or my own digital course software, but I still keep a planner myself. It's a small black planner with a
Mine's
day,
black too.
right? And it fits in my bag. So it has a day, it has a weekly, it has a monthly, and I still write it down. You know what I mean? Why not?
I think writing it down helps with memory, right?
Right,
Like I've
right.
studied this in psychology. Writing it down helps you remember things, right? So I think that's why we do it subconsciously. I don't know. Just a
And not
thought.
only that, I think it's also, I don't know, like my age growing up. I grew up with planner. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yes, I may be good with computers, and I do have a digital calendar, but at the same time, I'm still old school when it comes to things like this. You know what I mean? Like, I like writing down because I like to write details. Like, I have today your name. that I sent you an invite. I sent you the script. I made our script. I wrote the questions. I created your cover art, and I check it off. You know what I mean? Things that it's
Mm-hmm.
so hard to put in a digital planner. So I like writing it down and making sure that I checked off like my task for the day.
Well,
So don't feel
even
bad. I keep one as well, and it helps with being
well,
consistent.
even for me, for the kids, like with things like, because their teachers send me newsletters about like
Right.
pajama day or pizza day and stuff.
Yes.
I don't like having to go back and find these emails to figure out what day it is. Even that, okay, so I write it down so that I don't
Right.
forget, because it doesn't go into my digital calendar. It just doesn't work because it's
Yes.
some app that they have. But so I have to go and find that email, and that's annoying. It stresses me out that I'm going to forget something. So always the day planner, and
And
it's always a
they're still
black one.
young. They have so many activities, I'm sure. They probably play sports or arts and, like the dancing and stuff like that. And you're
Hmm.
like at that age, you're busy. There's so many things you need to do for your kids at that age. So, yeah, you do need a planner. And
Yeah.
just scheduling your business. Like, when you set a schedule for your tarot reading
I try.
or your coaching.
I downloaded Calendly, I think it is, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never ended up using it. I just used the planner, so I just deleted it because I wasn't using it. I was like, because people can book that way, but people always end up usually just private messaging me
Right,
instead of
right.
using that app. So I end up just writing it in the book.
Why complicate yourself, right?
Yeah, if everything's in one spot, then you
Right,
can just
yeah.
open it up that day. It says everything like you said. You tick it off. You know
Right.
you're good.
So I'm also like you, a big believer of consistency. So for me, Jasmine, consistency means showing up. Like what you said, with your kids' activities or with your clients, I need to show up as I speak. I'm a speaker. I'm a motivational speaker and keynote speaker. I'm a podcaster. I'm a host. I show up on social media every day because it's part of who I am. That's how
Hmm.
I want to, spread my message. Being present, being present is really for me not just actually being physically present, really listening to my guests, really listening to the people that I'm speaking with, listening to my kids, just making sure that I pay attention to them by being present and consistently present to whoever I deal with. And also, I'm big with not starting something and then losing passion. Because sometimes, you know what I mean? Like we have so many things in
Hmm.
our head that we want to do. And then all of a sudden, you lose the passion. So I try to be consistent with starting something and just pushing through. You know what I mean? If it's something that I know I might have a little issue, maybe I'll research first before I jump into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's important for me. Don't start something that, it like in the long run, I might lose my passion for. So for me, it's about knowing where I want to go. That's consistency for me. Setting a clear path and really doing something every day that brings me closer to my goals. And of course, there are days when I feel unmotivated, but those are rare. So
Hmm.
consistency is about being positive for me, motivated, and really knowing that I can achieve my dreams. We especially, you and I are single and we still want to thrive. We need to be consistent and never lose hope. We should
Yeah,
know that,
exactly.
you
I
know.
agree with that 100%. And like you said, the consistency is definitely key. And there'll be those days where I am like not feeling the best, and
Yes,
I will maybe go take like a nap, because usually that I meditate when I nap, right? I'm
I
not actually
meditate too.
sleeping.
Yep,
I'm
agree with you.
meditating. I'm not sleeping. I'm not asleep, right? But I just say nap, but I'll go and lay down for a little while. And sometimes if it ends up being longer than I wanted it to be because I'm not having a good day, then I
Right?
get this panic because all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm behind. I look at my phone,
Yes,
I
you and
missed all
I
these
are the
things.
same.
And then I'm panic attacking, like, oh my gosh, I forgot all this. It's because I
But some,
wasted a day and I didn't mean
yeah,
to.
but sometimes it's okay. Don't you think it's okay for us to take a break and relax?
It is, but it's sort of to like allow yourself to do that, right?
Right,
Because you
right.
get all the because of the phone always like you get all these messages and you're like crap. I
But
have to
you know
figure
why? You
it
know how
out.
you why we feel like that? It's just because there's so many like distractions. Like sometimes even your phone is a distraction. Like sometimes you just
Mm,
want like even
from
10, 20
homework.
minutes of meditation. I meditate a lot too, just like you. And I nap. I nap too
Well,
because I work from
I fall
home.
asleep. Yeah, same. I fall asleep while I'm meditating. Kind of helps me with it, I guess, because it helps with dream recall, and then I
Right,
use
right.
that with other things. But yeah.
And I talk about taking a break and pausing. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I mean, if you do it every day, like 3 times a week, then that's a different case. But once in a while, you do need to take a break and
Well,
recharge and
that's like what
recharge.
tonight is for me, kind of, because I could be doing homework, like after I'm done talking to
Aw.
you, but my kids are sick all week, and I am not gonna do that. I'm probably going to eat some more pizza and watch a show because
That's
like
good. Self
I need the
love.
break, right? I can't like I can't I can sit and do the homework, but I
Right.
just there when you feel it and you're like, nope, I need that time. I need that little bit of time, or else I'm gonna be irritable, and I don't like
Yes.
that. I don't like getting to that place where I'm irritable because I don't want that, and it does sometimes rub off on the kids because I'm irritable because I'm
Love it.
overwhelmed, and then I feel guilty because I was a little irritable, and I have to go up to them and kind of apologize and be like, I didn't mean that, mummy's go, and I explain to them, mummy's having a hard day because of X, Y, and Z. And even though my son's 4, I still try to explain it to him so that
Right.
he knows that mommy didn't mean to hurt his feelings, or mommy didn't mean
Right.
to get angry, or like act the way she did, or say something kind of rude or whatever. Because I get such guilt, and then I like try to explain to him why I did it, and I'm sorry, and that we shouldn't act that way, but sometimes we do because we're just overwhelmed, right?
Right. Yeah, before I was working from home, I have been in the field of education for 30 years. And, when you're a teacher, you do have a lot of like demands. You bring home
Mm.
homework, you bring home test papers to grade, that you really lose your time, quality time with your family. So, working from home now really made me find who I am. Like I found my strength, I found my authenticity, I found my self-worth because I am able to just have those moments of break that we
I
very
totally
much
agree.
needed. We very much need that. Don't I'm
Mm.
not guilty anymore. When I like to take a break and pause for myself, I don't feel guilty anymore because I know I need it. Or like just what you said, you're gonna take
Yeah.
it on your kids. You're gonna experience that burnout we just talked about a while ago. You know what I mean? If you don't have that self love, it will lead to that poor self confidence, poor self worth, and then taking it on your kids. So you know what? Don't even feel what do you call that? It's okay to take a break.
Guilt, yeah.
No,
Because
no more.
that's the problem, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, for me, it's just when I spend a day that I should have been doing something, but I'm feeling a little icky and don't
Right.
do it, and then I look at my phone and I see all the things I missed, or say I put my homework off when it was a day that I had scheduled to do it,
Right.
but I didn't feel good. Then I'm all panicky, like I had, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, I should have did that because now I have to not do this. Like, say I wanted to go out with my friend on a Friday night. Well, now I can't do that because I have to do my homework on Saturday. So it's just a balance of that, right? So you have to
What are
make.
you taking up in college? If I may ask, what are you going
I'm
for?
taking accounting.
Not
So I
wow.
want to become a chartered accountant by the
Nice.
end of it all.
That's so good. How many more months before you graduate, or how many more semesters?
I still have 4 more semesters, so I
Okay.
still have a bit of time, like a year ish.
Okay. Don't forget consistency. Don't you ever give up. I will see you and like I will look for you after 4 semesters, and maybe you can talk about where you're at already in your journey. Don't you ever give up. You know, it's gonna be hard. I have 2 master's degrees while I had my an infant here in New
Oh,
York,
that'd be hard.
back to back. But you know what? Looking back at it, there was nothing that I couldn't do. You're a mom. You're
hmm
solo. You're thriving. You can do it. You know, you can do
I
it.
think that it helps us being like single moms because we have these experiences and we know we're stronger and more
Mm-hmm.
resilient because we've already been through these things and we know we can take on we know what we can take on, we know what we can't because
Right.
we've lived this way and we've learned through trial and error how to get to the
Love
point of
it.
balance and understanding of yourself and stuff, right?
Yeah. Like exactly what we just talked about. Like we now have the balance, we have the support system because we know who to ask for help. You know, we talked about that support system, and all these things could really contribute to we're okay now. We're okay. No, even if we're solo, we're okay because we've learned from all these things that we just talked about. We can balance ourselves, we can have that self-love, or you know, we've gone through challenges that made us resilient, so nothing is impossible even if we're solo. I agree with you on that.
And my
Right.
mom always taught me that when I was younger, that like when you think about like when you're upset about like when you're not upset, when you're like I guess being having victim mentality, I suppose,
Right.
right? She
Yes.
always would talk about think about all the people that don't have like this or are struggling with that and you're not going through that. You have so much. You live in Canada.
Yes.
You're not living in a like a
You're not
bad place.
homeless. You
Yeah,
have your
you have.
place. Yes.
So she taught like me that like whenever your mind starts to curve to victim mentality to bring it back and think about what you do have because you have to say your gratitudes.
I
That's a
was just
really
going
good
to say
way.
that, Jasmine. I was just going to say that. Gratitude.
Saying
I
your
agree.
I say my gratitudes or I write them down or whatever just because it keeps me in check, I guess, right?
Um, in my planner too, don't laugh, but I find 3 things on a daily basis to be thankful for. Or I say things. I don't have to write it down, but I really like look forward to things that I'm grateful for. As soon as I wake up, I'm happy. I thank myself. I thank God for being alive, for having a good dream, or just having a good weather. You know what I mean? Those little things. Just
Mm-hmm.
be thankful, be grateful. You're not sick. Be grateful for your kids, and like when you have that gratitude in you, it just gives you that feeling of like positivity, right?
Well,
Don't you feel that when you're
when I was first going through everything, I would write down positive. I would write myself
positive affirmations?
positive affirmations to help me stay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keep going, you'll be fine. Or that's just one off the top of my head, right? But like you said,
Yes.
and now it's more about the gratitude. But before it was more like keep going, this and that,
Yes.
right? And it was just a way to like cope with how to figure it out. Even when my dad was sick, I would journal and do things like that, right? It was always been a very good coping mechanism. I've always been kind of a journaler and
Yes.
write everything down, right?
And just what you said, you did mention it a while ago, manifestations. I come up with manifestations every day. I say it like I manifest good life for me and my family. I manifest like healthy life, abundance, love, like everything that makes life positive. You know what I mean? If you
hmm
don't have your manifestations, then what are you living for? What are you
Oh,
working
exactly.
on, right? So I do believe in manifestations and doing positive affirmations in order for you to get your manifestations working for you. I believe in that. I'm a
And there's
big
so many methods of manifesting that,
yes,
like, whatever, like, if you want to learn about it and you, like, maybe have heard about it, but you don't know exactly which way to go about it,
not really. I
Google
just
it.
write it. I just
Well,
write it
some
down or
people,
I just
I'm just
think
saying,
about
some
it.
people Google will tell you so many different ways to go about it if you don't like how we do or how we do it, right? We write it down, we say it like
Right.
that way, but some people don't. Like some people like to do it with a candle or something, right?
Oh,
And
I
write their
do that.
manifest,
I light a
and then yeah, and
candle.
light it, and then also writing on bay leaves and burning
Oh,
them
I
all
don't
the
do that.
negative energy. But yeah, that's supposed to
Wow.
help get your negative energy away from you, like things that are burdening you. Do you know what I mean? Like so, say like I don't know. I'd say like I'm having a blockage in my business.
Right, right.
Burn it on the leaf, right? And that's what I mean.
Okay. Well, I just like lighting a candle. I love candles. Like before, I would use diffuser a lot. Like my house is
Mm,
always running a diffuser because I love essential oils. But now I love candles. So when I meditate, I just light it up, and that's when I do my affirmations and manifestations. It just gives you a part of that calm.
yeah.
setting your time for yourself in a calm, quiet way. I
Well,
didn't
I
know that that's a good
learned.
form of manifestation, lighting a
Yeah, it is.
candle.
But I learned how to read tarot cards because my mom is terrified of candles. So she had caught me with a candle in my room trying to do that. And she bought
Okay.
me a deck of tarot cards because she didn't want me playing with candles upstairs in my room, right? So I learned how to
Oh.
read. That's how I learned how to read tarot cards and brought me down that journey. Was because my mom's fear of fire. It's just
Oh.
so ironic, right?
See? Everything happens for a reason because of that, like how your mom, like your mom's way of thinking. Look at you now. You're
Well,
actually
that's why I say
doing
it's so
that.
funny. She was so afraid of a candle. My friend gave it to me, like in your birthday baggies you get, right? It's a really cool candle, so I didn't want to get rid of it, but I know she hates candles, so I hid it under my bed. And she found it, and then she got so mad at me that she bought me tarot cards because she thought I was doing witchcraft. But I was really just wanted to keep this cool candle my friend gave me.
Oh my
But it
goodness,
just
that's
led
too
me
funny.
down that path of the divination
Right.
and then spirituality and learning about it and stuff, which has obviously helped me through my life to this point. So her fear of fire helped me out.
Yes,
Didn't think
yes.
it would because I used to be really pissed off about getting rid of that candle, but yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. Look at you now. Oh my
That's why it's
goodness.
so
I
funny.
hate I hate to end this. I'm having such a wonderful conversation with you. Jasmine, I always ask this from my guests. If there is one quote or a topic or concept that you'd like to leave the audience with, what would that be? Like something that has guided you in your journey. What would that be?
There's this quote at the end of a movie. It's about AA, but it's the Bill Wilson's wife says it,
Okay.
and she says that our hearts can forgive what our minds cannot understand. And I've held that quote forever. And there's more to it. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's about our hearts can forgive more than our hearts can forgive more than what our minds can understand, and we are able to do more than like what we think we can do is kind of what she was saying. And that quote always just stuck with me. The part about the love, like being able to love and move forward instead of, you know, using your logic and being in your head and using the anger or whatever kind of
Right.
mentality you're in. Your heart is able to forgive and move forward, and I loved that, right?
And I just reflecting on what you said, some people are so like driven because of their mind, and some people are just driven because of like their emotions, right? And I don't know, I feel like a balance is good, but if you're more into like more with emotions, meaning like your heart is more what you use, I think I just feel like a sense of like relief for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, you know what I mean? Because like sometimes when you're so logical, so critical, sometimes it's harder. I just feel like it's harder to come up with solutions when you're all that. So having
Mm-hmm.
a balance is both, but I feel that being emotional or like deciding from your heart, I don't know. Is that better? Do you think it's better? I just feel like,
I think it's better because
me
it guides
too.
you towards things that you're going to be happy with in your life, opposed
Yes.
to be logical and unhappy with the things you're doing in your life because
Right.
you're just using your head and not taking into consideration what you really want, right?
And I feel like when you're heart centered, you're following your values as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your morals, your values are you're more driven by those things. So thank you for sharing that. And you know, your journey has really been inspiring, and I hope to get to know more of you, and I hope that this is not the last time that I'll see you. I'll check up on you from time to time. If you have anything new, feel free to reach out to me so I can always share it with my followers. Collaboration is always good.
Mm-hmm.
um Jasmine, how will they find you? How will my viewers find you? Or do you have anything that you want to share with others or promote? You can
I
talk
would
about
just
that.
say if you're looking for me, Facebook is where I have the most followers. It's what I
Okay.
use the most. I'm old
Mhm.
school a little bit too, right? So I mostly use Facebook. I go by my first and last name, Jasmine Bootle. Same with
Okay.
Instagram and YouTube, all Jasmine Bootle. So Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all under my first and last name.
Okay. And then when I share this podcast all over my social media, I want to ask for your links so that they can directly message you. I'm going to ask for all your links, okay?
Perfect.
Um,
That's awesome.
yeah. Any other parting words that you want before we wrap up?
What I would say to people is there's follow your intuition no matter how afraid of what could happen you are. Push the blockage out of the way and follow your intuition no matter how anxiety or fear you have, because you will end up with a better life, the reward at the end, the light at the end of the tunnel, because you're holding yourself back because of fear and anxiety. So let it go and follow your instincts and follow your intuition. Because that's a tarot card that comes up for me all the time, by the way.
And to piggyback on what you said, I feel that your intuition is yours. It's your
Mhm.
values, it's your beliefs, it's your mind talking to you. So who else are you gonna follow but your intuition? That's how I look at it. I don't know if
I
I'm wrong,
agree, yeah.
but it's yours. No, it's nobody else's.
It's like your compass for
You
you.
know what I mean, right? So follow it because it's in the long run, it's your decision. So might as well follow your intuition and don't follow um, any other distraction, or don't let distraction, or don't let life
Hmm.
challenges like lead you to your destiny. Trust your own self, trust your own intuition, trust your own path. Thank you. I love that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, if you are, to my listeners, if you are, first of all, thank you again, Jasmine Bootle. Love, love, love your presence. Something new. I always love meeting new people who has
It was
new
really nice to
stories
meet
to
you
share.
too.
Thank you. All right. So if you are a single parent who is thriving, I would love to invite you to my podcast and share your inspiring story. Connect with me on my different social media platform, Linktree/Candice Ruggiero. Learn more about what I do at my website, CandiceRuggiero.com. I speak on authenticity, intentionality, leadership, teacher empowerment, and burnout. And also, I teach at conventions, conferences, professional development workshop. And I'm also all over social media, just like my friend here, Jasmine. And I just want to say to everyone, keep striving, keep growing, and stay strong. Jasmine, have a good evening. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.